let's talk a little bit about us, because there's a ton of things out there that I see people saying that they can help you in different ways. So Lindsey, why are we the right people for the job? Why should people come talk to us?
Because we're awesome.
Well, I agree.
because we've got both sides of the Atlantic covered.
Yeah.
Of course. And seriously, of course, I think it comes down to experience, what we've got already behind us, and then the existing ongoing completed training. So it's a bit of a double whammy. So from my side, just to give a bit of background, so I was in a career of procurement with BMW. I was with BMW for 20 years, culminating in a group leader role, managing my own team of buyers. So negotiation, contract management, stakeholder management, supply chain management, all of that. And I've lived it. I think that's the important thing. You can go on as many training courses as you can think of, but I think the experience there, and similarly, I mean, between us, we've got, dare I say it, 40-something years of corporate, and I think that's key as well. The having worked for these global organizations that you and I have in common, there is, for people that live those environments, they know that they are microclimates. They have their own languages, their own bureaucracy, the politics. Yes. We get that. We understand that. We've lived it. We've navigated it. And then there's the coaching, which is just the beautiful cherry on the beautiful cake. So yeah, we've got that aspect of it. So the real diving down into the discovery part of it. Yes. The creative side, as I would now call it. Yeah, we've got that one as well. So
I love it. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I agree that we're awesome and fun. And Lindsey talks with our hands a lot, which is so fun to watch. So yeah, I see that. You can't beat having an American and British accent side by side. I mean, it's really fun. I have to tell you, creating the program has been fun. I am learning that I really am rebelling against British spelling, and Lindsey is really rebelling against American. So we're negotiating on the side, just so you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But in terms of why us, I think you will have fun during this process. We'll create a safe, confidential space for you. As Lindsey alluded to, we both come from a really very corporate global background. I come from the pharma world, where my background is in marketing. I became a new product launch expert and launched most of the vaccines that came out of Sanofi. I'm trying to think of the years, but over quite a few years. And then I moved into business development, where I was negotiating deals that, could have values of over $1 billion. So big deals. And believe me, when I started, I was terrified of negotiation. So I have been there with exactly what Lindsey's saying. I've overcome it. And one of the biggest breakthroughs for me in negotiation was realizing this co-creation. And that negotiation doesn't have to be a trade-off. It can be a yes and. You can develop wonderful things together. So I have a lot of experience in negotiating in these very corporate client environments. And just to give you a little bit of background, when I was with Sanofi years ago, and I had my first child, we were still very much like everyone's in the office between like 8 and 6, and you don't go home outside of those hours. And so I had to do a lot of negotiation and co-creation at the time to develop something that worked for me, because I had to commute about an hour into work every day. So, and from there, I started mentoring a lot of people and doing those types of things. So I have done a lot of that too. So you can take the step like Lindsey said, where we did leap. We took the leap. We're both doing our own thing now and loving it. But we also, I think, both within our corporate experience, and Lindsey has her own stories to tell, have done these like kind of micro negotiations and co-creations where you can take the small steps and still get to where you want to be. Because admittedly for me, I did not take this big leap first. There was a lot of small little, as I say, bites of the cookie before we got here. So
yeah, I love that. And I think that's a really important point to make. I mean, my leap was 4 years in the thinking. It took me 4 years to to really get to that point, say, okay, now I'm ready. And prior to that, there were multiple small co-creations. And the one, as you were talking, Jen, that really popped into my head was a few years ago now, where I had a job within BMW, which was in, that was about vehicle launch, actually. It was a vehicle launch position, and it just wasn't a good fit. It was not a good fit for me, and ultimately led to what I now understand was burnout. And moving from that role into related but slightly different, that was a co-creation with the department I was moving to. And that was so beautiful because I was able to say to them, having really understood what I don't want,
yes.
I was really able to say to them, this is what I need from you. These are my boundaries. And this was in the interview. I was actually saying, okay, this is what I need to be working on. These are the hours, and I can't do X, Y, Z because. And the response to that was, great.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's understanding, how do I start the conversation?
Yeah.
Who do I start the conversation with? And you know, really often what you get back as the response is awesome.
Yes, I agree. I love that story. What a lovely success. And I love that you said who to talk to, because that's another thing that we'll touch on in the program is, who do you talk to? So a lot of times the reason a negotiation can feel really hard is because we're not talking to the right people. So we'll help you figure out, like, who's the decision maker, who are your allies, all of these types of things, and look at who are the stakeholders that you should involve in this, because it may not be just that one-to-one negotiation with your manager or HR. It could be something totally different. So I love that you use the word who, because it just sparked me to remember that that's something that we're going to focus on as well.
It's crucial. It's absolutely crucial. Yeah.